So were they camped out at your house, the media people? Or?
Oh, no. They didn't have to be. They just kept playing off their own stories. And the blogs started coming in, and they just kept it going. But there was a person I could talk to, and that was God. And I could cry to God, and I could talk to God, and I didn't have to worry about what I said to God, and I didn't have to worry about him telling anybody, and I didn't have to worry about him destroying Jason through what I was saying. He was my everything. And when it came, this went on for 10 months, and my faith was just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. As long as I was in my prayer closet, I had the strongest faith in the world. But the minute I stepped out of my prayer closet and sat down in a meeting with the attorneys, Satan was right there to put the doubt, to put it all back into my head that your son will be going to jail, Jackie. It's just a matter of how much time. And it's a matter of what do we want to do here. We don't want to go to a jury because they could send him for life. Yeah. So the judge has agreed he'll try it, and he might just have to go to 3 to 5 years. And I'm thinking, but what about his innocence? What about that? So it was Jason's decision. You want the judge to try you or a jury? Nobody there wanted the jury trial. But my son said, I tell you what, I got to pray about it. And my son and his wife went to the altar that following Sunday and prayed. He called me and he said, Mama, I can only get peace with a jury trial. Keep in mind this. The judge had made the statement, tell Jason, if he goes to a jury trial, they find him guilty of one thing, even a misdemeanor, I'm going to give him the max because I don't want a jury trial. Wow. So that's what he was up against. He was up against everybody, the judge, but God said go to the jury.
Well, you know, it's kind of like David when he numbered the sheep and he wasn't supposed to. He said, well, now I want to fall into the hands of God. Don't let me fall into the hands of man. Well, this judge, if he's the only one who's going to be the final word on this thing, and if you lose it with him, at least with 12, you
got something. You know, in his mind, he thought, you know, a judge, I'm just someone that comes through. I'm just a case number. He looks at it. He looks at the book, and he says, well, he gets this sentence, and then he said, you go to jail for 3 to 5 years. Next.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't do that. So, you know, he went with the jury. So when it came time, we kept thinking the day we'd never get there. We won't have to do this. Something's going to happen. The truth's going to come out. This is not going to happen. But it happened. And we finally started realizing we are going to a trial.
So you had to go through the trial.
We had to come to the realization we're going to a jury trial. That's so hard to swallow. That's so nerve-wracking. So what I did, they sent all the names of the jurors out in the paper, all the potentials. There was just so many. So I took them, put Psalm 91 with them, sent them to my whole family. We started praying, down on our knees, down with our face to the ground over those names, praying, God, please send us good Christian. Please help us, help us. So then it come down to 2 judges. One judge, the one who says, just a misdemeanor, I'm going to send him. The other one, we didn't even know. So we started praying for the one we didn't even know. I took his picture, I cut his picture out, put Psalm 91, sent it out to the family, we started praying. Well, when we walked in that Monday morning into the courtroom, lo and behold, there was our first miracle. The judge that we prayed for. Yeah. And guess what? The pastor of my church came in a couple of days after that, and he sat down. He said, oh, Jackie, I know that judge. He's a Christian. He's a bold Christian.
Wow.
Oh, and God good.
Wow.
Yeah, and God good.
So it's a setup now. God's in charge.
Yes, God. Yeah. And things started turning around. Once the trial started, things started turning around because, you know, it's like the judge said in the very beginning when he gave his orders to the jury. He said, you know, the only truth, whether you've heard things, whether you've read things, the only truth is going to be what happens right here during this time in this courtroom. Not something you've read in the paper, not something someone said to you. This is truth, and this is what you concentrate on, and this is what you believe in. And the way that God just started burning. The next defining moment was when the attorney told me I could not take my Bible to the courtroom. And that was my life support. And
now you've really got to talk about, now here you are, you're a believer. God's in this thing. You got a judge you pray for who happens to be a Christian.
But I didn't know that at the time when I was told I couldn't take my Bible. I didn't know what we were going into in that courtroom. That happened after we got in the courtroom. Before I went to the court, they said, do not bring your Bible. If there's one non-believer on that jury and they see your Bible, they could use that opinion and hold it against your son and send him to jail for 30 years.
Wow.
That's a lot of pressure on a mama, isn't it?
Yeah, but you weathered the storm.
I did, because but I can't say I didn't worry. I did worry about that because Satan wanted me to worry about that, and he wanted me to be confused. But I knew that if I didn't have God, we had nothing.
Yeah.
And I'd rather it just insult a juror than insult God, because we had to have God. We had to. So
no doubt about it.
I took the Bible and I sat there, and not only did I take it, I didn't hide it. I had it open the whole time, and I cannot tell you. We were in session 3 full days with testimonies, and I've got to tell you, my Bible, I was reading Psalms the entire time.
Wait a minute, you're reading your Bible.
I'm reading Psalms.
You're
I'm reading
instructed
Psalms.
not to take your Bible. And if you take it, the least you could do is be incognito with it, but you're so bold.
I had to be. Dr. Brown, remember this DA that I told you about that was so adamant to send my son to prison?
Yes.
To me, when I looked at him, I saw Satan. I saw Satan because I could just see him. So what I would do is I'm reading in the Psalms, and I'm looking at Satan, and I'm hearing Satan, the words out of his mouth. But I'm looking at my Bible, and God's telling me, I am your defense. Put not trust in what man says. The judge's heart is in God's hand. And as the river of water turneth, I can turn his heart any way I want to. How comforting is that? When I wanted to scream out, that's not true what you just said, I would just look down and think, God, that's not true. Bring out truth.
What about Psalms 91?
Oh, it's so powerful, isn't it? It's so powerful.
That captured you and anchored you.
Oh, yes.
There's so
my
much
life
there,
support. Oh, to this day, I claim that is for me. Just keep, every morning I pray that for my family. Just keep us under your wings of protection. And, it's God's shield of protection on our life. And if people haven't read that and don't know how powerful that is, I did not know. It's in the book.
It's in the book. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High.
And how about I will
shall
put
abide.
Angels, in charge of you, and I'll put them around you to keep you protected. And it's just all kind of good stuff in the Psalms, And I don't know. I live by it now. And
we just need to share a little bit of this because there's so many people out there, and this was your strength.
Oh,
this was your hope.
Still
this
is.
is your confidence.
Yes.
It is.
It is, and will be the rest of my life.
He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust.
Yes.
Surely He shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with His feathers, and under His wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and thy buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor the arrow that flieth by day, nor the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come
near your dwelling. It won't come near you.
Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked.
Yes.
Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways.
What more do we need?
They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against the stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and the adder, the young lion and the dragon shalt thou trample under your feet.